awnings out because the Russians had come in, you know, it was winter and they would just break up all the furniture and burn it for firewood.
Well, so at the point where I was going to tell you was, I was already 6 years old, and they were retreating from Moscow. They were leaving because, you know, it was too cold for the Germans because the Russian cold is a lot colder than German cold. You know, they were not used to that. So they were retreating, and then going out, they decided to take everyone out with them because they were still going to win the war, and they wanted laborers. That was a big thing with the Germans. They always wanted laborers. So I was living out in the country with my grandfather and grandmother, with my mom and my little sister, who just was like 4 months old. So they said, we're going to take all this furniture. My grandmother said, no, you're not. And they said, yeah, what do you want to do? Leave it here for the communists to use for firewood? Because that's what they did. Every city and country that they were retreating, they used the furniture, beautiful furniture my grandmother had. And they had all her chairs up on their trucks, you know, and she spoke German, and she told them to get it off. She said, you're not taking my chairs to Germany. Anyway, they took it. They were just young boys. I want to tell you, they were German kids. They were just like 17, maybe 16, 17, 18 years old, you know. And my grandmother told them not to do it, and they took the chairs off. And so then, what are we going to do here? You have to leave, because this is a very strategic area. You have the radio station here, which was, I don't know how tall that was. It was built by the same guy that built that big thing in Eiffel in Paris. You know, it was like the Eiffel Tower. It was really tall, and it was the radio station, and also the Danube. And all the airplanes that were leaving from Russia came down over the Danube to go to Austria and Germany, because the Danube was their flight plan, you know. And so my grandfather didn't want to go to Germany, and my grandmother didn't want to go, but we were forced. They said, we're evacuating all this area. So my grandfather had a pig. We always had a pig that we would slaughter for Easter time, but this was Christmas time. So my father had that poor thing slaughtered. I still remember the screaming, you know, because they scream pretty bad. I don't know if you ever heard.
They do. I know how that is.
And so they put it in a wooden tub. That's the wooden tub that we had. We didn't have porcelain tubs in those days. And they put a lot of salt. I remember that poor pig was laying there and covered with salt, you know, because salt is a preservative. And then they put that poor pig on the truck.
I have to go. Take a plate.
My sister had an English buggy,
Anybody likes
you know, those buggies with the nice tires, with the rubber tires, the buggies, you know, instead of strollers, they had English buggies. You don't know what they look like. Anyway, they put that on the truck, and then my grandfather, my grandmother, and my mother, and we sat on one side, and then some of the soldiers sat on the other side. Oh, and my grandmother baked bread, because she had a big igloo stone bake thing in the backyard. You know what those are. And she was baking bread for 2 or 3 days, and she had all this bread. She made big loaves, and then she would make a cross. She'd take the bread up like this to her breast, and she'd make a big cross on the bottom of the bread. And she'd slice the bread, and then she put goose liver or duck's liver, whatever it was, fat. And that is good stuff. Have you ever had goose liver? You've got to go to Hungary to get it, because I don't think you can have it.
And in Chatsworth, there's a Hungarian little
for
store.
sale.
It's for sale. Oh, I see.
I don't know how much it is, but Tamara found it.
Too many Hungarians living
And
in
we
Chatsworth.
went there and they don't have too much stuff in there, but it said including all ingredients.
I was wondering if they carried the goose you're talking about.
I don't know. But anyways, so she gave it to everybody. She gave it to all the German soldier boys, and they loved it. And that's all, you know, I mean, what else do you give